What was expected to be a relatively quiet and straightforward January transfer window for West Ham has actually turned out to be anything but that, thanks to a sudden explosion of events over the last 10 days. The Hammers were looking at signing Besiktas midfielder Gary Medel and maybe adding a couple of loan signings to the capture of free agent Samir Nasri last month. Then Marko Arnautovic happened. The striker rocked the club via his agent and brother Danijel by demanding to leave East London this winter with a lucrative offer from the Chinese Super League on the table that was more than double his wages. Arnautovic started against Arsenal in the wake of the outburst from his brother. While his employers remained consistent, he wouldn't be going anywhere unless the valuation of £50 million was met. As of yet, it hasn't been, and the Austrian is set to be back in training on Tuesday, having been left out of the 2-0 defeat to Bournemouth on Saturday. West Ham splurged £95 million in the summer to bring in 9 new faces, and they won't be buying big this month unless they sell. The rumored movement of Arnautovic has seen them linked with about 100 strikers in the last 10 days, from Callum Wilson to Maxi Gomez and Duvin Zapata. The Hammers' injury problems have seen them explore the market at the very least this month, but with Ryan Fredericks returning from injury soon and Aaron Cresswell's improved form at left-back, the need to strengthen those positions in defense isn't as pressing. Marko Arnautovic waves to the fans. Photo by Mark Atkins. Getty Images. With Arnautovic likely to depart in the summer, there will be more budget to spend at the end of this season than now, and the Hammers could get much more value for money then as opposed to now. We take a look at what the club needs, what the fans want, and what is likely to actually happen at E20 in the final 10 days of the January transfer window. What Manuel Pellegrini wants. West Ham boss Manuel Pellegrini gestures on the touchline during the win over Arsenal. Image, Ian Kington, AFP. Getty Images. The Chilean never, and we mean never, gives anything away in terms of transfers and targets, whether they are incomings or outgoings, as he keeps his cards incredibly close to his chest. But here's what we do know: he doesn't want to sell Arnautovic. He did want a central midfielder that could also play right back. He will want a striker this month if Arnautovic does depart. A winger was on the list of requirement. This is a common theme from the manager throughout his press conferences this month when asked about players. Those names may be one of 25 names that have been said recently, and it is always the same answer: I do not talk about rumors. I am happy with the squad. I know that we need to replace players that probably will not play much more this season, like Yarmolenko, Sanchez, Lanzini, so we are calm. We will decide not now what we are going to do, but we will decide. What we do know as well with Pellegrini is that he will have the final say if Arnautovic leaves or stays, and that he was 100% of control over the transfers. The manager continually states that they will assess the market and see if there is any value and if that player might be required for his team. But the boss never says anything about transfers and keeps everyone guessing, so deciphering what he wants is nigh on impossible. What the fans want. Callum Wilson celebrates after scoring against Fulham. Image, Clive Rose. Getty Images. Throughout December and January, we have been asking the Hammers readers what they would like to see happen this window, and there was not one clear winner in terms of positions to strengthen. It started with wingbacks, but that has now disappeared to be replaced by strikers, though central midfield has remained one constant throughout for what the fans want to see strengthened. Carlos Sanchez's season-ending injury made that spot a priority to be filled. Forwards now are the name of the game for the fanbase, and unsurprisingly that has been ramped up in terms of Arnautovic's potential departure. That has seen the names of Callum Wilson and Maxi Gomez feature heavily in our survey, though the most requested player was in fact Chelsea midfielder Ruben Loftus-Cheek, closely followed by the two aforementioned strikers. What position our Hammers writer Sam Ingersoll needs to be filled? There is a real striker problem at West Ham at the moment. Arnautovic wants out, supposedly Javier Hernandez does too. Lucas Perez has been dropped from the matchday squad and Andy Carroll isn't up to it anymore. That leaves 21-year-old Xandi Silva with his whole 2 first-team appearances as the other striker alternative, with Michail Antonio able to play up there. There is no way that Pellegrini allows even 2 of his strikers to leave in the same window with some replacements, but they all need a boot up the backside and some quality competition would not go amiss this window. Javier Hernandez scores the second goal against Palace. Photo by Stephen Pond. Getty Images. Central midfield cover is still needed as well. Declan Rice and Mark Noble are the incumbents now, but if they were to go down injured or get suspended, that leaves just Pedro Obiang, who is also looking to leave. Obiang won't be going. Robert Snodgrass has played there this season, but outside of those 2, you're looking at U23 players needed to bridge the gap. The need for wing-backs has lessened over the course of the month, so Pellegrini is fine there, but midfield and up front, especially if Arnautovic leaves, is a must. What will actually happen? Well, a lot depends on the future of Marko Arnautovic. He is expected to report for training on Tuesday at Rush Green, having been axed from the squad for the Bournemouth game. If he is sold, and that is looking less and less likely, then there will be money to spend, but if he doesn't go anywhere, then there is not the cash to splash. The club is close to the limit on financial fair play after their big summer investment and have to spend the pennies very carefully. There have been no offers yet for Reece Oxford, who is injured anyway, Lucas Perez or Andy Carroll, while Valencia's loan terms for Javier Hernandez will not be accepted either. Were permanent offers to come in for some or all of them, they will be considered. Lucas Perez celebrates his second goal against Cardiff. Image, Danis 19, Getty Images. The club will be working on identifying replacements for any player who leaves right up until the deadline on January 31st. But put it this way, if there is to be any movement, then it is probably going to be late in the day. The trail on Medel has gone very cold as Football London understands the higher-ups at the club are not massively keen on the deal as much as Manuel Pellegrini is. As it stands, it's only U23s who have left the club, and that is likely to remain the same unless Arnautovic goes on strike a la Dimitri Payet, but that is certainly not expected to be the case. Unfortunately, it is all just a bit of a guessing game at the moment. West Ham's transfer plans for January. With a January transfer window already in full swing, Football London want to hear from West Ham fans on the business they want to see from the club, from the market, and their view on the season so far. Take part by completing our survey below or click here if you cannot see the form. Keep up to date with the latest news, features and exclusives from Football London via the free Football London app for iPhone and Android. Available to download from the App Store and Google Play.